We live in a time and space universe. Pretty obvious, I think. That's what our lives consist of. We live in space, we live in time, and pretty much a given. And when we go to the first verse of the Bible, of course, that's what it starts out. In the beginning, there's time. God created the heavens and the earth. There's space. So if we're going to believe in a creator, we realize he created a time and space universe. What's interesting as we look at the time and space universe, in space we have three dimensions. There's length, width, and height. We do all of our calculations for geometry and calculus and different things, and physics. We use formulas, calculating time and space and the effects they have on each other. And we can make some tremendous predictions and conclusions based on the knowledge of time and space and how consistent and steady they are. Now, when you go to space and it's three dimensions, obviously, if God created a time and space universe and space has three dimensions, and God is beyond that. I've often heard people say, I think God lives in another dimension. Well, I think in a sense you might be right, except for the fact that he's outside of dimensions. He doesn't need a dimension in which to live in. He is. And so he created a world that we relate to that is three-dimensional. Then when you go to the temporal universe, time, isn't it interesting that time has a past, present, and future? There are three, wouldn't call them dimensions, but they are three temporal elements of time. We all understand that what was in the past is past, and that was past time. What's in the present is present, that's present time. But we also understand this thing's coming, that's future time. Now, isn't it interesting that these three tenses, past, present, and future, cannot exist without the other? Time has to be three parts or it's nothing. If you look at dimensions, length, width, and height, we think two-dimensionally when we're sketching things out, but in fact, there is no truly two-dimensional existence except in our thinking, because everything has to have some depth, no matter how small it might be in comparison to length and width. So we live in a three-dimensional world of space, and it takes all three. You can't take one away and still have space. Time, you can't take 1/10 away and still have time. You need the three to make the one. Now, this is interesting because in the Bible, it seems to be that God is presenting himself not so much in a three-dimensional way, but in a three-in-one type of way. For those of you familiar with the teaching of the Trinity, as I've said before, most people who don't believe in God are not believing in some idea of God that they've picked up from someone else. And I think when we think about the Trinity, there's a lot of ideas out there that seem pretty weird when it comes to what the Trinity actually is. But there seems to be something to this three-in-one argument. Matter of fact, it's twice stated in our universe, three-in-one in space, three-in-one in time. We live in a space-time universe. It almost seems like the Creator is doubling down on the three-in-one idea. Now, obviously, the three-in-one idea goes beyond our numerical schemes. But it seems as though something is being communicated here. And because so hard for us to understand, maybe that's why God said it twice. Because he said it in space, he said it in time. And whenever in the Bible something is repeated by God, like when verily, verily, or amen, amen, that's literally the translation of verily, verily, or truly, truly. Whenever these doublings take place, it means it's really, really true. So here we have a universe created by the Creator, and he makes a space-time universe, and there's three dimensions in space, three tenses of time, and then we sit back and say, I can't understand how there can be three-in-one. That's impossible. Maybe we're not looking close enough. Well, we'll go on with some more stuff next time. Thanks for listening.